I'm Annemarie with Speak Confident English, and welcome to your Confident English Wednesday lesson. So let's be honest, all of us have bad days when something happens that is out of our control, and we feel so annoyed or irritated, frustrated, and we need to fix it. So we need to complain sometimes. Sometimes we have to complain to someone else. For example, maybe a travel agent who made a mistake with a travel reservation. Maybe you need to complain to a company that made a mistake with an order or something was delivered late. Maybe you're at a restaurant and they bring your food and it's super cold, so you want to make a complaint. And then there are times when we're just frustrated and we want to tell our friend, our family member that we're annoyed and we need a good way to complain about that. That is exactly what we're going to focus on in English today. We're going to look at two situations, how you can complain politely in English. This is for professional business situations when you are dealing with another company and you want them to fix the problem. We have some very specific ways that we do that in English. And then we will also have some fun with some more informal ways to complain, even a vulgar expression that we use in English that we keep to use with our friends or family when we are just beyond annoyed or very irritated with something. Now, before we go any further, I want to make a quick note. If you haven't noticed, I do have subtitles available on this video. In fact, they are available on many of my videos. If you see that little mark below, that CC, which means closed captioning, or it's also used for subtitles, just click on that little button down below at the bottom of this video, and you'll be able to read as you listen. Now let's go ahead and get into our first group of ways to complain in English, where we want to be professional, we want to be businesslike and diplomatic. We want someone to help us resolve the problem. In the examples that I give you, you will notice that we often use words like I'm sorry or excuse me before we make the complaint. And the language is very soft. Native English speakers don't complain too directly or aggressively in the language. We feel that it can be offensive or rude, it's too strong, and many times if we are too aggressive when we complain about something, the other person doesn't want to help us. So there's really no point if we complain but we're too aggressive or too angry. We want someone to help us resolve the problem. If you're working with a travel agent and you're going to an international conference for work, maybe they make a mistake with your hotel reservations, the flight reservation, and you're really frustrated. You need it fixed. A great way to make a complaint and try to get some help for that situation would be, I'm sorry, but I think there's been a mistake with my reservation. I'm sorry, but I think there's been a mistake with the reservation. Now, there are those keywords that I talked about. I'm sorry. It isn't my fault. I didn't make the reservation, but I'm trying to make the language soft, diplomatic, and make it easy for us to work together to resolve the situation. I could also say, excuse me, I think there's a problem with this reservation. Excuse me, I think there's a problem with this reservation. Another useful expression, I'm afraid there's been a mistake, or I'm afraid there's a problem. We could use this with the situation that we've already talked about, a problem with a travel agent, or maybe you're working with a new client, a new company. Your company has partnered with another organization and there's a problem. Maybe the delivery is late or the company didn't meet the deadline. You might start your complaint with, I'm afraid there's a problem with this delivery, or I'm afraid there's a problem with this deadline. And then you would continue to talk about the problem, the issue, what happened, what was wrong, in a calm, relaxed way. Now, sometimes there is a problem in public. Maybe you're at a restaurant with a really important business partner and the restaurant completely makes a mistake with the order and you're really frustrated, you're angry. But you don't want the entire restaurant to know about the problem. You might start a conversation with the manager of the restaurant or the server by saying, I don't want to make a scene, but this is unacceptable. I don't want to make a scene, but this mistake or this error is unacceptable. The next time you have a problem at work or with someone in public and you don't want to create a lot of drama, but you want to resolve the situation, use one of those 4 ways to help you begin to express that complaint in a calm, diplomatic, appropriate way. Now, with our friends and our family members, we're not usually so diplomatic. Sometimes we want to complain to our family member. Maybe your children leave toys all around the house all the time. And you're tired. You come home from work, you have to cook dinner, and the house is a disaster. Sometimes that just is irritating, and you want to complain about it. Or maybe you're having lunch with your best friend and you both have had a terrible day. So you're just talking about everything that went wrong. Some really useful expressions that we use for that are, I've had it up to here. I've had it up to here. We don't really know where here is, but it's our limit. We've reached the limit. We are so frustrated, annoyed, angry about something. For example, I've had it up to here with my boss at work. Maybe there's a problem going on and you are just stressed and annoyed about it. Maybe at the end of a long day, you come home from work and as we discussed, there are toys and laundry all over the house. You're exhausted and the last thing that you want to do is to pick up all of the laundry, pick up the toys. So you might say, I'm sick and tired of picking up toys every day after work. I'm sick and tired. That expression allows us to express our frustration or anger over something. Now, this next expression is definitely not for polite company. And if you have children in the room who are maybe also learning English, maybe have them go out of the room for a minute because it's probably not the best expression for them to learn. To be pissed off about something. Now, this is a phrasal verb. To piss is a not polite way, a vulgar way of saying to urinate. To be pissed off is to be extremely angry. For example, you might say, I'm pissed off that my boss has asked me to work this Saturday because it's my birthday. I'm pissed off that my boss has asked me to work this Saturday because it's my birthday. As I said, that's not polite language, so definitely don't use that with your boss at work. And finally, again, if we're talking to our friend or a family member and we want to express shock, dismay, we want to say that we can't believe something has happened, we could say, can you believe that my boss asked me to work on my birthday? Or can you believe that the boss has asked everyone to work this weekend? And now you have 8 new ways to effectively complain in English, whether it's for a polite business situation or when you want to be really honest with your friends and family about how you feel. So here's my challenge for you today. Go to the comment section just below this video and share an example using one of these expressions. If you're working with a new company or you recently had something really frustrating happen at work, try using one of those more diplomatic, polite expressions. Or if you want to try using one of those more honest, real ways to express anger and frustration, talk about something that really frustrated you, made you feel angry, something that you want to complain about, and share with me your example sentence in the comments below. Thank you for being here. I love having you here every Wednesday, and I'll see you next week for your Confident English Wednesday lesson.